Welcome to Wonder Education. The main mission of Wonder Education is to provide a free education to individuals who can't afford higher level tutoring for standardized testing such as ACT and ACT. We also provide help with classroom needs. So if you like what you see, leave a comment, subscribe, tell me what I can do to improve, tell me what I can do better, tell me where I can add and what subject matters I should go into. So let's dive right into this SAT ACT prep. Number one tip, this is in boxes as you can see, is to read a lot. Read a lot of books that correspond to your subject matter. Read books of interest. Books of interest, okay? I cannot stress this enough. If you read books of interest, you will do well on the SAT ACT reading and writing. A major problem I see is not enough of my peers in high school are reading books for their interest. They're rather reading to just because of summer assignments. So when I say this, I don't mean read because of your English teacher assigned this for summer reading. No, read books that genuinely interest you. That way you'll be able to pay attention to the comprehension and vocabulary within it, and you'll be able to develop a much better comprehension and vocabulary. This will especially help you on the questions on the SAT ACT that ask, should the author make this addition to the essay? Okay, if you read a lot of books, you'll be able to discern what kind of material is acceptable in an academic essay, and thus you'll be able to answer questions on the SAT ACT that correspond to that. Also, when it comes to reading, read mature books. Read books that are intended for high schoolers. Do not read books that are intended for middle schoolers, okay? Mature. So don't read Diary of a Wimpy Kid or Harry Potter and expect to get a good SAT ACT score because you read. No, read books that are intended for high schoolers, intended for upperclassmen, and books that you can get something out of. Books that can improve your overall sense of self. Second tip for the day is to practice math, but in class. Okay, that's perhaps the most important tidbit, is to practice math in class. Do not go around practicing questions all day from your local testing book. No, you have to practice questions in class, especially in Algebra 1 and then geometry. Those are the questions that's for most regular classes, that's freshman and sophomore year. So those are the two most important subject matters when it comes to SAT ACT prep. And if you have a relatively good grasp on those, and Algebra 2 is also important for some of them. If you have a relatively good grasp on these three classes, you will do well on the SAT ACT math. You have to master the concepts. You have to master the individual concepts, okay? And that's something that's not being stressed enough, the individuality. You have to master everything from linear equations to the two-dimensional surface areas. If you have a good grasp on all of those subjects, okay, two things are going to happen. Number one, GPA. Your GPA is going to go up because math, one of the hardest subjects out there, you're going to have a good grasp on it. So this is more of a high school tip. If you pay attention to Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2, your GPA will go up and your SAT ACT will go up. So if you follow these two tips, you will get a 30 composite on ACT, and you will get a minimum of 1350 composite on the SAT. These are very good scores. These will make you competitive for most colleges. Okay, most if not all colleges will accept scores of this caliber. But for my overachievers out there, for those of us who are looking to go to Ivy Leagues, who are looking to get a perfect test score, who are looking to go to the best in-state university they can afford, the third tip is important. Stress on areas you need to improve. And what this means is a month before the actual test, take a practice test. Okay, take a practice test and study the areas in the last month that you got a low score on. I'm not saying say that you struggled on English. Okay, you can't just say I struggled on English. I'm just going to drill 100 English questions a day for the next 30 days before my test. No, not effective. not effective. Okay, you have to study effectively, so that means study in a way that will benefit you. So make sure to start. Okay, so here's an example. If you struggled on sentence structure, do not practice English questions relating to comprehension. Only practice questions relating to sentence structure, and this applies to math as well. If you struggled on the if you struggle on Cartesian coordinate systems, only practice Cartesian coordinate systems. Do not practice your algebra and geometry, other algebra and geometry, because you don't need practice on that. And this is how you can put less time and get more out of your practice. So less time in your practice, but get more out of it. So if you follow these 3 tips, you should be able to get where you want, at least in regards to standardized testing. Practicing math is very important, at least in class, because you will have a higher GPA as well. And reading books, the reason I said number 1, because reading a lot will not only improve your SAT scores, but it will also improve you as a person. Let's not forget that, okay? It will improve you as a person. Again, this was the first video of Wonder Education. If you like what you saw, please subscribe and leave a comment. Wonder Education.